All right, guys, we're back today. We're looking at a 1955 Chevrolet Bel Air Convertible. We're here with Wayne Milne from Port Charlotte, Florida, and he's owned the car since he's been 16 years old. Very interesting car. It's a little different now than what Wayne had bought it back then, and we're going to tell you a little story about it.
Okay, well, I bought this. Well, I shouldn't say I bought it. When I was 16, I probably didn't have $110. My father bought the car in Montreal on the corner of Sherbrooke and Claremont Street. There's a Toronto-Dominion Bank there, and the guy that owned it worked in that bank. And he'd ordered the car in 55 because he wanted a convertible, and he wanted a heater and an automatic transmission. That's what he ordered the car with. It's a 6-cylinder engine, no radio. No signal lights on the car when it was ordered new, and he was getting married, so he wanted it for that reason, I guess. And then he drove it for 6 years until I bought it, or my father bought it, and it was in kind of rough shape because it always had city driving. And one interesting point with the car, I talked to the man. I remember talking to him even though I was 16, and I said, "There's no signal lights on that car." Well, he says, I don't know anything about cars. And when I ordered the car, he says, I heard the salesman ask me if I wanted signal lights. So he said, no. And he says, I stuck my arm out the window all my life. So that was the reason for no signal lights. I think it was probably $6 back then. And
when did you add the lights to it?
My father added them because it was my first car, and then it was my twin brother's first car. So he probably wanted to try and keep these young guys alive as long as he could, so he put them on. And the odd part is, all he did was run a wire, put a new cap on the steering column, and he ran the wires from the steering column down to the bottom and plugged them in. Everything was there, all the wiring was there right to the back end. Of course, they work off your brake lights, so. But at any rate, it wasn't much of an issue, I don't think. We drove it for years with a different colored signal light cover on it, and unfortunately I've lost the original one that didn't have the hole in it for no signal light, so I can't find it. Now,
you said originally this car was a 6-cylinder.
Yeah.
It's not anymore, is it?
Oh no, it's had several engines. We were kind of hard on engines. I remember one time my father, I'd been out at night for, I guess I treated it kind of rough. It came in, it was only running on 5, and he took it and ripped it apart and got the 6 cylinders working again, and that lasted for a while. And then myself or my brothers dropped the V8 in it, and that didn't last very long. So we actually I had a 56 Chev engine in it, a 265, and that lasted quite a little while. And then I had a 327 in it, and that lasted a while. And now we've got a 350 in it. It's got a turbo transmission in it, and we've decked the car out pretty well because it was a pretty plain car years ago. So I've outfitted it with power windows, air conditioning, power steering, power brakes, all the toys, and it's turned out to be a nice car.
Now, when you bought this car, you were telling me earlier that it was not in very good shape. Little rust issues?
A little rust. This chrome was the only thing between the outside and the wheel. It was all rusted out. This was all completely gone. The whole works, all gone. And so we put all new quarters on it. Well, what we did originally in '61, we went to a junkyard in Fort Covington, New York, and cut the back off of a perfectly good 55 Chev 2-door hardtop and put that on here. And then since then, of course, we've had to put new quarters on again, all new floors. We even had to build a frame for it. A friend of mine, Ernie Wilder, he's the guy that built the car for me, and it was quite a little task. And he had to build a frame. We took the X out of the old frame, put it into a sedan frame, and put new tires, or new wheel, all new suspension, everything under, all new fenders. I had NOS fenders right from General Motors. And that's kind of the way it's gone along after all these years.
You replaced all the stainless around the windows and...
No, that's all original.
Really?
But
wow.
Ernie buffed it all. He's a stickler for for buffing stainless. He really likes it to shine.
Door handles are original too, as well.
I wouldn't think they're probably original. I'm not sure. I doubt it. But all the stainless will be original. But it's just been redone by Ernie. And then the guy that painted it the last time is a fellow named Dave Armstrong. And Dave's a fireman for the Saratoga Fire Department in New York. And he doesn't paint cars. I think he painted one car before this one. He painted that car. The boys buffed on it and wet sanded it and all that kind of stuff for quite a while. And it really turned out nice.
Yeah, it's a beautiful
Really
paint
turned out
job on
nice.
it.
Yeah. And it had the bumpers all re-chromed, of course, and everything's been redone. But these are the original bumpers. You'll notice on Canadian-built cars, the bumpers in front are one piece. The American cars, except for California, are all three-piece. But these are all one-piece bumpers.
Mm-hmm.
And this wouldn't be the original bumper because when I was 17, a guy came up the road on a construction site, and he'd had a few beers under his belt, and he drove right into me, head-on collision right on this corner. So this bumper's been replaced, and the frame was twisted a little bit. We straightened it out.
What year approximately was that?
That would probably have been about 1961.
Oh, so right after you
Yeah,
purchased the car.
61, 62, right in there. Yeah. Yeah. And my head went through the roof, so I had to put a new top on. But well, other than that, it was seemed to get through it. And that's about the only accident cars I've ever been in. It because it only had a 6-cylinder engine in it, and all the other boys in my town had V8s. When they came to these railroad tracks, they'd slow down, and I wouldn't. I'd just keep my foot right on the floorboards, and I'd jump right over the tracks. Just about landed on the trunk of a buddy of mine once. It was real close, but didn't want to be beat.
Now, how many times has you had the car redone? I mean, obviously this has had a nut and bolt down to the frame restoration. How many times have you done that? How extensive was each one of those?
Well, the first one was fairly extensive because there was a lot of rust in the car. And then the second one was pretty extensive too because we didn't have any parts to work with. Maybe just didn't know where to get them or whatever. So what I did, we did it in my shop, and we didn't have any floorboards for it. So there was a Coca-Cola bottling plant not far from us. And somehow I got my hands on sheets of Coca-Cola bottle caps before they were punched out. And that's what went in the floor for floorboards.
Wow.
And then the last time, just a few years ago, Ernie redid it. So it's been 3 times, plus the accident was in when I was 17 years old. So it's been between 3 and 4 times it's been redone.
And when was the last time it was redone?
About 10 years ago. It took quite a while to do it because it was a major job. My goodness. There was nothing. All he had left actually to work with was the cowl and I think the hood, maybe the trunk and trunk lid. We put a new trunk floor in it from New Mexico, and then put brand new floors in it from one of the suppliers. And I had new fenders, NOS fenders from GM, and he just went at it. And I think he shook his head quite a bit sometimes when he was doing it. It was a major job, major.
Well, let's pop the hood and the trunk and see what we got underneath all this shiny paint and shiny stainless.
We tried to keep it somewhat original looking. Like this would be the original windshield washer bottle. And obviously the air conditioning isn't. But this air breather in particular, that's a 1955 Chev air breather. However, they only produced that air breather from November to January. November of 54 to January of 55. Because it's got a round snout on it. And after that it was always an oval snout. And that's extremely rare. I found that one. There was a fellow over on the other side of Florida that had it, and I got it at Turkey Run, and we made a deal on it. It's a really, really rare.
You got the aftermarket AC. I see. You got to have that down here.
Yeah. We just got that working the other day. Actually, had been working and it quit. So I took it over to Dr. D's and they got the air working. But there's always something. There's always something on these old cars. You get an old car, as you know, you're going to have to work on them.
Yep.
I pulled in to put the windows down this morning. One of the electric windows doesn't want to work in the back, so I suppose I'll have to take the back seat out to get that figured out.
Gives you something to do, though, right?
Yeah.
Keeps you busy.
Yeah, I've got enough cars that I can keep busy pretty much all the time.
Yeah, how many cars do you have total?
About 25.
25 cars, wow.
All this, there's a bunch of stuff in the trunk here because I carry my chairs and what have you. The car shows to set them at any rate.
Jacking instructions.
Yeah.
Now, do you have the original jack to this?
I would imagine it is. But, you know, I've had the car. When I got this car when I was 16 years old, it was a car.
Right, right.
It wasn't really anything particularly special. Although somehow it stuck around all these years. My mother always she named it the Ragger, the old Ragger. And then when we quit using it, it went into the backyard for a while, and the neighbor kids took and I was in the school bus business, had some paint laying around. They plastered this whole side with yellow paint. And then it went from my grandfather's haymow in the wintertime and out into the cow pasture in the summertime until probably the mid 70s. And that's when I did the second restoration on it. And drove it, it worked good, drove it for a long time. And then later on, Ernie did it again. And he did a frame off, and it's just like new underneath. I guess it is new. Yeah.
I see you got the old bias ply spare.
Bias ply spare, but I put radials on the rest.
Right. Well, it looks like a wide radio wouldn't even fit in the spare tire hole on there.
Probably not.
Yeah.
Usually I have to let the air out and let them sit down in there.
Yeah, a lot of good that'll do when you're
Yeah.
out with a flat tire.
I don't know if that one's got air in it. But all the top and everything, it's been painted, but it's never been overhauled. A convertible top, you know, it goes up and down. If you want to see that, I can certainly do it.
Yeah, if you're going to open up the top so we can better look at the interior. Now, none of the interior is original, is that correct?
No. I had new interior put in it once when I did the restoration in the 70s. And then, of course, I was doing mechanic work quite a bit. And I put a screwdriver in my back pocket and I got in the car and ripped the seat wide open. And so that's the way that deal went. This top is the way it came from General Motors. It hasn't been readjusted or anything. There's been no bushings changed, nothing. We certainly put a new top on.
Approximately how many miles do you think are on the car?
Oh, a couple 100,000 maybe. I really don't know. I don't even remember how many miles was on it when I got it. Probably not very many.
Now, I'm looking at the time on your clock, and it looks to be pretty correct. Does that work?
Yeah. I changed it over to one of the new electric ones.
Gotcha.
And it works fine. Got a Wonder Bar radio, which you have to have a two-piece radio system for these cars, probably the same as your car. And I never put the power pack in, so it doesn't work. But I want to listen to the engine when I'm driving on the road anyway, so I don't care if it works.
Right.
We put air conditioning ducts in out of a 56. The 55s just had a round hole, and the 56s had a grill in them, as you can see. And I didn't like the round hole, so I put 56 air ducts in. I shouldn't say I did them. Ernie did everything.
Well, it almost looks like it's factory You know,
It is.
factory made.
Well, they are factory made because if you could get air conditioning in 55s.
Okay.
And it was the same grill, except it didn't have the grill work in it, just had the round hole. So.
Now the you say you put the electric windows in.
Yep.
The switches that are in there, are those 55 switches or?
Yes, they're all 55 switches.
Okay.
Repos. Everything's repo.
Sure. And even in the rear?
And this is the one I've got to, unless we get lucky. No, something. Oh, they tend to be temperamental. I don't know if I put power windows in again. They're kind of temperamental. Sometimes they work good, and sometimes they give you a hard time.
Well, I appreciate you allow me to come into your garage and talk about your car. It's a beautiful car. It had quite the story to it.
Yeah, I'm sure if the old car could talk, it would have quite a few stories. You know, it was my first car, and of course my first girlfriend was in it. And then my brothers, I'm sure, had girlfriends in it too. So it's had quite a life.
Well, all right, guys. Well, you heard it right there. So maybe my next video we'll talk about all the girls that have been in the car. All right, guys. Well, thanks for watching. If you like what you see, hit the like button, hit the subscribe. I try to get these videos out on these cars as often as I can. So thanks, and thanks to Wayne for inviting me in, and we'll see you next time.